Now let's discuss that further with Eric Walberg, author and journalist joining us from Toronto. Mr. Walberg, welcome back to Presstv. Hamas says it is fully committed to the ceasefire, but Israel, as we see, keeps violating it. Do you see this as a calculated move by the Tel Aviv regime to break the ceasefire?
I wouldn't say it's absolutely the case, because it's Trump's ceasefire, and if Israel really is the bad boy here, Trump already, Israel said that 2 IDF soldiers were killed, and they accused Hamas of killing them, whereas in fact it was unexploded ordnance. It was, you could call it friendly fire, if you like. That it was bombs that Israel sent, they didn't explode, and Hamas didn't find them and make them into their own weapons. It killed these IDF soldiers by chance. And Trump apparently told Netanyahu, I know the story on this, you can't fool me, these were your own, this was your own problem, this was not Hamas. So that's interesting that if my sources are correct, that Trump was actually pointing his finger at Netanyahu on that case. And as everyone said, everyone knows Israel, ceasefire, Israel will break it. It's automatically the case, because they want to show that they are somehow strong, that they can do this. It's like they play the bad boy. You know, a parent chastises a child, and he turns around and he does it just once more. So this is Israel's childish mentality, that it has to show that it can do still what it wants, even if it's forced by its parent to obey. So this is the case. Israel's playing this childish policy, and hopefully Trump will stand by a more neutral position. Even Kushner, interesting that he came and he said that he told Israel, he said, if you want to have peace, you've got to give a good outcome for the Palestinians. You've got to show that you can provide them with sustenance, that you're not going to kill them. He basically is also taking that position, that it's up to Israel to show that it can be a bit more mature in its acting. So I think that that's interesting, that there is some kind of true mediation going on here on the part of Trump and Kushner, a little bit anyway. I don't know how far this will extend, but that is more hopeful than the fact that apparently already Israel's killed 90 people and had 120 violations since October 10th. So it's doing its best to play the bad boy, but maybe it will settle down now. Let's hope and pray.
That's right. Mr. Walberg, let's talk about the role of the mediators here, given Israel's repeated violations and Hamas's stated commitment to calm and peace. What do you think the mediators should be doing this time around differently to make sure that this ceasefire doesn't collapse?
Well, that's a big question. I would just say that as I said, this Kushner is actually making this, and that's Trump as well. So, and I'm sure Witkoff is part of this. That they're trying to politely make Israel abide by the ceasefire. That's basically what. And I don't know if you can't really blackmail Israel, and it's still continuing to starve the Palestinians. It's not letting aid in. So I think the mediators have to say, open Rafah and allow the aid in. I think that's got to be the number one at this point, so that the Palestinians can survive. We're still at the stage one, where we're trying to end this genocide. We can't get on to the day after until the genocide ends. So that's got to be the top priority of the mediators.
And regarding your first response, Mr. Walberg, you said, the United States has clearly a huge leverage on Israel. There are analysts suggesting otherwise, saying the United States has a less leverage over Israel than you might think. What's your response to that?
Was cut off the gravy. Basically, the U.S. is financing this genocide, and as soon as it stops financing the genocide, or maybe a phone call from Trump to Putin and say and Erdogan, let's cut off the oil. I mean that's they're just as responsible for the genocide in a way as the U.S. is, because they're providing all of the oil and gas necessary for Israel to fuel its planes and drop the bombs. So but all these countries have incredible leverage on Israel. I wouldn't believe anyone that says that Israel is independent and can just continue on its own. It can't. It needs the U.S. and it needs Russia and Erdogan, and it needs Azerbaijani oil to get there. So as soon as that stops, everything will stop in Israel.
But hypothetically speaking, if these countries that you just mentioned cut ties with Israel and didn't support it any much longer, how much longer do you think the Israeli regime is able to continue its genocide?
Well, 1 or 2 days, I think. But I mean, it's unlikely that they'll do this. In a way, I don't blame them, because we know that Israel is the master assassin. It has assassinated hundreds and hundreds of people since 1948, and it's perfected this ability. And I'm sure that Putin, and I'm sure Erdogan, and even Trump, I mean, the Israelis killed JFK. It's quite clear. We can see this now. I don't know about 9/11. I think they had a finger in that too. So, it's capable of incredible sabotage. We think that Ukraine is bombing civilians and doing all sorts of nasty things, but Israel is the master of this. So in a way, I sympathize. You've got to keep your eye on Israel's dirty tricks, because you don't want to die in the process of trying to save Palestine and save Gaza. So I'm not a master negotiator with the chief assassin of the world. I don't know how to really deal with him, but I would hope that these leaders can somehow talk together. They're all on the same side now. I don't know about Azerbaijan, but I know Russia and Turkey and the US, they want this genocide to end. In fact, I think, well, I don't know it, but they do want the genocide to end. And I think that if they were talking together and putting Israel, putting pressure on Israel sufficiently, it would finally stop its evil.
Eric Walberg, author and journalist, joined us from Toronto. Thank you.